media queries. Now, there's something called responsive web design. And that basically means how does your website react to different screens? So if somebody's using a phone, a tablet, an iPad, a big desktop computer, how does your website change to give them the best possible UI? So today we're gonna learn about media queries and a little trick called we can add a little trick to make it better. So right here, this is our page. We have an image here, we have a header and some content, and then we have section. So this is a section and that other one is a section. So this is the HTML. You don't really need to see the HTML anyway. So one problem that we may have is if we open this in a phone, so let's choose this phone, so iPhone SE for example, you see the image is way too small. Like imagine if you're using a phone and the image was that size, it's really hard. So to make it easy, first of all, you have to add something called we're adding a metadata. The name of the metadata we're adding is called viewport, and basically viewport is what you see here. I'm just gonna close the metadata. It doesn't have it's just one thing, so it doesn't have like another closing thing. And then the content of our metadata is gonna be the width. So we want the width to equal to device width. So we're saying, hey, make the width of the page equal to the device width. And then initial scale, we wanted the initial scale to be 1.0. So if I save this, now you see the image got bigger. So now just by adding that single line, you helped your page already so much. Now I want to show you some problems that happen. Now if I uncomment that and I save the file, now you see certain scenarios. What happens is you go to a page and the page was definitely not created for a mobile phone. Look at this page for example right now. You have to scroll horizontally, which is crazy to me. This is just way too off scale. But by adding that single line, if I uncomment it and I save it, boom, it matches. And then you can, it matches for multiple things, for not just iPhone, Galaxy, whatever. So always add that to your page to make it awesome. Let's get to the main thing today we wanted to talk about, which is media queries. So here I have this section. The section is basically this too, and I want, if a person is using a big screen, I don't want them to still read because sometimes it's like way too long. I want to create two different columns. So let's see what that means here. So in my style, I'm gonna reference the ID called sections, and then I'm gonna just make them flexbox, and the flex direction will just be column initially. Actually make it row. Cool. So as you can see right now, you want them to have two different sections. So you have two different columns, if you can think of. Now the problem is, it's really awesome for the person with bigger screen, and don't worry about how bad this is. It's bad, but what if someone was using a phone for example, or a device that's really small? Now this structure of two columns doesn't still work. We want to change it to just one column, one tab, one button. And you may see when you're using in some websites, you may see the headers. We have the header here with many menus, but when you're using a phone, the header change the direction, and that's what we want. Now that is the power media queries gives us. So in our CSS here, we could specify the media query. Now you specify the type. Most of the time it's just a screen. You can say print. But we just want to use a screen, and then you say and then you basically specify kind of like a space, right? You specify like a point where you want things to change. So I want to, for example, make the maximum width, so let's just say max width equal to 1800 pixels. So when the page, the maximum width of the page is equal to 1800, I want to make some changes, and then I put basically my code here. So I will just copy this, put here. Now I want to specify with another. When I have the header, they're just called header. I have an ID called header of a header. That's kind of crazy. Why don't I just use the header? We don't need the ID power. So now let's say for example I want to change the header CSS. I want to give the header a background color of aqua. So now that is the color that I gave, and then you can add money location. So the maximum width is when is that. Now I want to create, right now I only have one. Let's say this is when I have 1,000 pixels, and this one is like 6,000 pixels. And then that's aqua. I want to make this green, and then I want to make this, say, yellow or like orange. If I save this, now you see it's orange because my max width is equal to or less than 600 pixels. But if I make it bigger, now you see we hit the 1,000. So now our maximum width is 1,000 pixels. The screen is bigger, and if we hit the 1,800, it's kind of hard to get to. Now that is the color. So you see how the color, the background color changed depending on the width size of your device. So now, as we can see, we can still rate. This two is fine, but once we hit this one, the orange, we want to change the order of this. So we can just say here, that is the section. So we can not in there, because that's the header CSS. In the section CSS, we can just say sections. We can get sections, and then we can just change for flex direction to column. So I save it. So now you see here there are 2 columns. That as we go, we keep the 2 columns. But once we hit there, now the 2 columns become just 1 column. So that is the power of media queries. So you basically set different media queries on different kind of like points in the width of your page, and then depending on that, you change either the background color. For example, like you could remove the image, for example, in here if you wanted to. So let's say I want to remove the image when I hit the phone. So when I hit like this really small device, I want to go to inside the headers, just say header, I have an image, and then I want to make the image say display none. So basically remove it. So now let me try that, save this. So let's try this. So I have the image, but when I get to the phone, I don't have the image anymore. I deleted the image because the font is way too small for the image. So you kind of get the idea of how you can manipulate this. Yeah, this is the part of media queries, and this is the part of that single metadata. Yeah, this is the last video of this CSS course. We might create later another course where we discuss more different properties. But really be happy that you're here. You finished the course, and I wish you all good luck, and go check out other courses on the website. Bye.